So today I'm going to be talking about the Swanndri Mosgiel Bushshirt. I think that's what you pronounce it anyway. So this is from Swanndri of New Zealand. And as you can see, it's a wool, full zip, full length bushshirt. So talking from the top, we've got this reasonably good hood. It has two cords on either side, one on either side, but it doesn't have a retainer to hold those cords cinched, which I find is a bit of a nuisance. So I'm going to stick a couple of those on. But the hood is detachable, fully detachable, and it leaves this very high collar, which I think is great. Whenever the wind's blowing across, your hat comes down and this collar overlaps very high, and of course it'll sit down as well if you're not interested in that. There's a when you've got the hood up, there's actually a little fastener that will come across, and there's a button here, but it's quite footery. If you've got cold hands, it's very difficult to actually attach, but that sort of cinches off this area over your neck and half strangles you at the same time. I think that could be probably an inch longer, make it much more useful. The zip comes up to just below your throat, and it leaves this little hole here between the collars, so a sort of neck gaiter is quite useful there. Large pocket here, you can get quite a lot into that, but it's not overly massive. The garment itself comes down to my knees, so so it does actually cover you quite well. And at the side there's these slits, which means you can quite easily get your knife out, but it also covers it, so if you're in a public place where there's lots of people around. So as I say, it comes down to the knees. Now, I am about 5'10", so it really does give you very good weather protection. The thing about this garment is it's 100% wool. It also has a liner inside, which is wool as well. There's a pocket here, not really massive, and it seems quite high up. It should be maybe 6 inches lower than that. There's a storm flap here on the zip to stop things getting in, but what you'll actually notice is that the wool, although it's not particularly thick, it's very, very dense, and one way to test windproofness is to blow through it. You feel there is some restriction to your breath going through there, so it is semi-windproof. It's also quite weather resistant, so if you're in a drizzly rain, nothing will get through that. It just sits on top of it. With the heat of your body, it seems to press it out. So length is excellent. Sleeves are actually good, so you can reach above your head and it doesn't really come off. You also get these buttons and quite good long flaps to cinch in your wrist, and that'll keep the heat in a lot better. So overall, a good roomy jacket. This is a size large, so I'm about 13 stone, as I say, 5'10". Not particularly it fits me very well. It's not overly massive, it's not overly small. I could get another jumper under here and I would be really warm then. The thing about it is, as I say, it's very dense. Although it doesn't feel thick, it's very heavy. It feels heavy in your body, which means it's very, very dense. Walking out of the woods, and It's getting quite warm. It was maybe only 3 degrees with a maybe 10-mile-an-hour wind. It was cold enough. But any sort of movement or work on this thing, and you get warm very, very quickly. And it traps the heat. So having this full-length zip where you can open up your chest and vent all that heat is really, really useful. And that's unlike the other bush shirt, which just comes up to you and it's very hard to vent without taking it off. But no, this, very pleased. It's been a few months now, and it's well worth it. They're about 160 pounds, and I think it's one of these things that will probably last a lifetime. So